Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. I'm recording this 8:30 a.m. East Coast time, United States. It is November 13th, 2025. Exactly 3 years ago, this date, to this hour, it was 5:30 a.m. in a little town called Moscow, located in Idaho, when 4 young people were lost forever within an off-site campus house that was steps away from the University of Idaho, where all 4 were attending class at that time in pursuit of their various degrees. Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan were forever lost to their families, their friends, and to the community at large. Not just the local community, not just the statewide community in Idaho, to the community here in the United States and globally who have expressed interest in them and this case of Idaho versus Kohberger. When I started this podcast, it was with the intention of hopefully finding the truth of what had happened at 1122 King Road on that dark day 3 years ago today. Whether that truth, that path would lead to, yes, undoubtedly, it was not just Mr. Kohberger, but it was Mr. Kohberger and no one else. Because no one at the time that I started this podcast and no one else since has ever been charged with those crimes. On July 23rd, 2025, the case against Mr. Kohberger was closed after he pled guilty to the 5 charges that were returned by indictment via a Latah County grand jury in May of 2023, which at that point canceled the preliminary hearing, which the public understood would be public, that both sides agreed to in January of 2023, where evidence would be brought forward, presumably, to demonstrate that there was enough evidence to continue to hold Mr. Kohberger over for trial. That preliminary hearing never happened, nor did the public trial ever happen because of his entry of 5 guilty pleas. At this point in time, in my opinion only, that I give pursuant to the First Amendment, based on speculation, based on rhetorical questions, and based completely on opinions, the public still does not know exactly what happened at 1122 King Road. We know that he pled guilty. That is true. But in looking at some of the evidence that has been permitted to seep out since the case was closed, through public records requests, through documents that were produced by the Idaho State Police who processed the crime scene, and by the Moscow Police Department, who were the lead agency investigating the crime, there are so many questions, to the point of it's not even known when Mr. Kohberger's name actually came on Moscow Police Department's radar. There is conflicting record evidence that it was on December 19th, 2022 versus sometime earlier, approximately December 5th, 2022, and so many other things. It is not until documents under seal and evidence under seal is disclosed to the public that I believe that the public will know the true story of what happened to Madison and Kaylee and Xana and Ethan. And if anyone has any doubt that it's not just myself, that it's not just other independent journalists and members of the true crime community and residents and citizens and members of the public who have concerns about this case, I urge you to read the declaration submitted by Rebecca Boone in support of a right to be heard and unseal documents. This was attenuant to a motion that was filed by the Media Coalition in July of 2025, urging Judge Hippler to unseal the what I have called virtual Mount Everest of documents that were sealed from the public in the case. Rebecca Boone is a highly credentialed journalist. She is based out of Boise, Idaho. She has, according to her declaration, spent the entirety of her approximately 26 years as an investigative journalist in Idaho. First as a reporter for the Lewiston Tribune, which is located very close to Moscow, and then in her capacity as an investigative journalist / supervising authority for the Associated Press. She's a graduate of the University of Idaho, highly credentialed. Ms. Boone has said in her declaration that she cannot recall in her many years in the field of ever seeing a case as sealed as Idaho versus Kohberger was. She urged Judge Hippler months ago to unseal the case in the name of the First Amendment, in the name of transparency. As of this date, November 13th, 2025, only a small portion of the documents have been unsealed without redactions. Some have been unsealed with redactions, that's true, but nothing beyond or prior to April of 2025 has been released in any capacity by Judge Hippler. The pace that the unsealing of documents is going, it appears it may take up to 2 more years before the entire case is unsealed. In the name of transparency, name of the First Amendment, I am hopeful that it won't take that long to unseal documents, which many have a question why they were ever sealed to begin with. And finally, in remembrance of Madison and Kaylee and Xana and Ethan, I've lit a candle today to remember them. I urge everyone who's interested in this case to do something, whether privately or publicly, to remember those 4 young people. This is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.